The groom never arrived. The music kept playing for exactly 43 seconds longer than it should have. Then even the organist understood something was wrong and slowly lifted his hands from the keys. The silence that followed felt louder than the music. Abigail Miller stood alone at the altar. 340 guests watched her become a public mistake. Then someone unexpected began walking down the aisle. Not the groom, his mother. Emma Michael didn't rush. She didn't look worried. She didn't look embarrassed. She looked satisfied. Her heels touched the marble floor with slow, controlled rhythm. Each step measured, intentional. Like a surgeon approaching a procedure she had already decided the outcome of. Abigail didn't move, because somewhere deep inside, instinct was already telling her, this is not happening by accident. Emma stopped directly in front of her. Up close, her perfume smelled expensive and cold. Not floral, not warm, controlled. Emma studied her face the way investors study failing companies. Then she reached up and removed Abigail's veil. Not aggressively, not emotionally, clinically, like removing a label that had been placed on the wrong file. Gasps spread across the cathedral. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." Emma didn't even glance at the audience. Because predators don't look at witnesses. They look at outcomes. Then she picked up a glass of red wine from the front row. For a brief second, Abigail believed this must be symbolic. A toast, a gesture, closure. Then Emma tilted the glass. The wine flowed slowly across the white fabric. Not thrown, poured. Deliberate damage always leaves deeper scars than chaos. The red spread across the dress like a diagnosis. Terminal. "You were never the bride," Emma said quietly. Her voice wasn't angry, it was worse. It was certain. "You were simply convenient." The words landed harder than the wine. Abigail heard someone start crying behind her. Someone else stood up. No one intervened. Because most people don't interrupt power when they recognize it. Abigail didn't react, because she was staring at the clock above the cathedral entrance. 4:18 p.m. She knew the time because she had been counting seconds for 7 minutes. Critical care nurses do that when something is dying. You measure decline. You predict failure. You prepare emotionally before the moment arrives. Her bouquet contained 28 white roses, because Jordan once told her 28 was their number. The day they met. The floor number of his first apartment. The number of days he claimed it took him to fall in love. She had laughed at the time, but she kept the roses. The thorns were cutting into her skin now. She didn't drop them. Pain was information, and she needed information. Behind her, the bridesmaids had gone completely silent. Her maid of honor, Dr. Sophia Alvarez, trauma surgeon, a woman who had watched people die without losing composure, placed one steady hand on Abigail's shoulder. A grounding gesture. Abigail gently removed it, because she was watching Emma. Emma Michael had already sat back down. Leg crossed, back straight. Perfect posture. A woman watching a strategy succeed. She lifted her wine glass again and took a small sip, like someone celebrating a quiet victory. She wore black silk. Not mourning black. Dominance black. Minimalist. Perfectly tailored. The kind of dress that didn't try to signal wealth. It assumed recognition. Everything about her said the same sentence. You were evaluated. You failed. But what told Abigail the full truth wasn't the humiliation. It wasn't the wine. It wasn't the words. It was something much colder. Emma never reached for her phone. When a groom is missing from his own wedding, a normal mother panics. She calls, she texts, she sends people looking. Emma Michael simply observed, because she already knew where her son was. And more importantly, why he wasn't here. That was the exact second Abigail understood something she would later repeat to herself many times. This was not a disaster. This was an execution. To understand how a 31-year-old cardiac ICU nurse ended up standing in a destroyed wedding dress, while a woman she had spent 2 years trying to impress dismantled her life in front of witnesses. You have to go back, because the short answer is simple. Love makes intelligent people override their own data. The longer answer begins 16 months earlier. The night Jordan Michael walked into Westbridge Medical Center with a shallow cut in his hand and a personality built entirely around being admired. He was beautiful. Abigail would later hate how much that mattered. Dark hair, controlled confidence, the kind of presence that made other men unconsciously adjust their posture. He worked as a financial associate at Helix Capital. At the time, she thought that sounded impressive. Later, she realized it meant he lived inside expectations he couldn't sustain. He made her laugh while she treated the wound. Not loud jokes, precise ones, observational, tailored. The kind designed to create connection quickly. When she finished, he asked for her number. Abigail hesitated, then gave it to him. The most uncharacteristic decision she had made in years. For a long time, it felt like the best one. Jordan had a rare social skill. He made attention feel like safety. He remembered everything. Her favorite late-night snack, the professor she once mentioned hating, stories about her father. Weeks later, he would reference them casually like proof she mattered. Flowers after brutal shifts, coffee delivered during double rotations, messages arriving exactly when she felt most exhausted. Or so she believed. Because looking back now, Abigail sees the other pattern. Whenever Emma called, Jordan changed, subtle but immediate. His shoulders tightened, his voice lowered, doors closed, long conversations taken in private. When Abigail asked, he always smiled. She's just protective. Abigail didn't know what that meant. Her mother died when she was 13. Her father raised her alone until a heart attack took him during her final year of nursing school. He worked 2 jobs, left notes on the kitchen counter, eat, sleep, finish what you started. She didn't know what involved mothers looked like. So she believed him. She gave Jordan every benefit of doubt she had. The first time she met Emma Michael was at a private dinner 14 months into the relationship. Emma's penthouse overlooked the financial district. Everything inside spoke the language of quiet power, custom ceramics, architectural lighting, staff that moved without sound. 2 other couples were present, people fluent in legacy wealth and generational strategy. Abigail was the only outsider. Emma placed her at the far end of the table, poured her wine last, slightly less, not enough to complain, enough to communicate. Then came the questions. Where did she study? How competitive was nursing school? Did hospital careers allow upward mobility? Was she comfortable navigating high-status environments? Each question sounded polite. Each one was an audit. Emma wasn't learning about her. She was stress testing her. Later, Abigail told Sophia. Sophia listened quietly, then said one word, exit. Abigail laughed. Abigail stayed. The proposal came 9 months later. Private terrace, city lights, perfect timing. Jordan on one knee, perfect speech, perfect ring. A ring Abigail would later learn Emma selected. Emma approved, Emma financed, Emma expected. Abigail said yes. She cried. That night, Sophia asked a question Abigail avoided answering. Are you marrying Jordan? Or the life you think he gives you access to? Abigail never answered, because somewhere deep down, she already knew. And that knowledge would bring her back to the altar, standing alone. Looking back later, Abigail would realize the wedding didn't fall apart in one day. It collapsed slowly, predictably, like a structure failing under pressure long before anyone hears the crack. The first real shift happened about 4 months before the ceremony. That was when Emma Michael stopped behaving like the groom's mother and started behaving like the project manager. At first, it looked harmless, helpful even. A better florist recommendation, a more elegant cake designer, a subtle conversation with the venue coordinator that Abigail somehow wasn't included in. Nothing dramatic, just small corrections, small improvements, small adjustments. Until Abigail noticed something else. Her guests were being moved, not removed, repositioned. Her hospital friends were quietly relocated toward the back rows. Jordan's business contacts moved forward. Investors, executives, family allies. Emma never excluded Abigail. She simply reduced her importance. When Abigail confronted Jordan, he looked tired in that familiar way he had whenever his mother was involved. She's just trying to help, he said. Abigail studied his face. I didn't ask for help. Jordan exhaled slowly. Abigail, I can't fight her on everything. That word stayed with her. Can't. Not won't. Can't. And somewhere deep inside, a quieter voice corrected him. He could. He just wasn't going to. About 2 months before the wedding, Jordan began staying late at the office. That alone didn't worry her. Abigail respected ambition. She worked cardiac ICU. She understood exhaustion. What she didn't understand was behavioral drift. Jordan started taking his phone everywhere. Bathroom, balcony, even short walks to the kitchen. Small behavioral changes are rarely small. They're signals. Abigail noticed. She said nothing. 6 weeks before the wedding, she attended a corporate charity gala with him. That was where she first saw Alexander Sterling, founder of Sterling Ventures, billionaire. The kind of man business magazines described with phrases like strategic patience. He wasn't loud. He didn't dominate conversations. He didn't need to. He simply existed, and the room adjusted itself. Jordan had leaned slightly toward her and said quietly, "That's Sterling." Abigail remembered thinking something very specific. That man looks like he has never been caught off guard. Sterling spoke very little, but when he did, conversations paused. Even Emma Michael had shifted her posture slightly when speaking to him. Abigail noticed. Again, she said nothing. 3 weeks before the wedding, something changed again. Jordan forgot she was home. Abigail had returned early after an overnight shift, still in scrubs, moving quietly out of habit. She heard his voice from the kitchen, lower than usual, controlled. "Mother, I told you it's handled." Silence. "No, she doesn't know anything." Another pause. "Yes, I understand what's at stake." Abigail froze in the hallway. Training kicked in immediately. Tone analysis, stress indicators, risk language. Then one word she didn't recognize. Sterling. Silence again. "I said I'll be careful." Abigail stepped backward quietly into the bedroom, sat on the edge of the bed, and stared at the wall. Her mind began doing what medical minds do under stress. Pattern construction. Sterling, handled, careful, doesn't know. She built explanations the way doctors build differential diagnoses. Work issue, family pressure, financial stress. None of them felt stable. For the next 2 weeks, Abigail did what intelligent people often do when they sense danger they cannot prove. She maintained routine. She finalized wedding details, attended fittings, answered messages, smiled in mirrors, functioned. During her final dress fitting, Sophia watched her reflection carefully. "You look incredible," Sophia said. Abigail smiled. Sophia didn't. "Perfect," Sophia added quietly, "is usually a warning sign." Abigail didn't ask what she meant, because she already felt it. Something was wrong. She just didn't know how wrong. And then the wedding day arrived. 16 months of planning, hundreds of decisions, hundreds of guests, and not one person in that cathedral understood they were about to witness a social execution. The microphone appeared almost invisibly. Abigail would later replay this detail many times. Someone handed it to Emma. She never discovered who. Emma stood slowly, not emotionally, formally, like a chairwoman preparing to announce a restructuring. "There will be no wedding today." The words landed cleanly. 340 people inhaled at once. Shock has a sound. Abigail felt her knees lock. Her fingers tightened around the roses. A thorn pierced deeper into her palm. Good. Pain meant she was still present. "My son," Emma continued calmly, "is across the city." Pause. "With Isabella Sterling." A ripple moved through the guests. That name carried weight, money, status, doors. "A woman from the right world," Emma continued, "from the right family." Then she turned toward Abigail. Her expression didn't change. "You were never the destination." A pause. "You were the transition." Abigail would later remember one strange thought. So this is what shock feels like from the inside. She had seen that exact expression on trauma patients. The second their reality changes permanently, the body freezes, the brain rejects, the system stalls. Now she was the patient. Emma reached for the veil. Months of searching, French lace. Emma pulled it free. The comb cut across Abigail's scalp. Sharp pain, then warmth. Blood. Abigail didn't react, because another part of her had taken control. The nurse. Don't collapse, don't react, don't reward cruelty. Breathe, count, observe. Emma lifted the wine. Let's correct the color. The wine hit cold, then the smell. Dark fruit, oak, expensive. The stain spread quickly across the ivory silk, like arterial bleeding. Abigail watched it happen with clinical distance. She knew how to stop bleeding. She couldn't stop this. Her legs gave way. Not emotionally, neurologically. Overload response. She found herself sitting on the marble floor before she decided to. Cold stone through silk. Somewhere in the distance, someone laughed. That detail would stay with her, because nothing feels more surreal than discovering someone finds your worst moment entertaining. Wine dripped slowly from the ruined dress. Drop, drop, drop. Time slowed, and then something changed. A male voice behind her spoke quietly. Not loud, not dramatic, controlled. Stay exactly where you are. Abigail didn't turn, because something in the tone said, authority. Then, don't give her the ending she planned. The room shifted, not emotionally, structurally. People began turning. Alexander Sterling stepped forward, calm, unhurried, precise, like a man entering a negotiation he had already decided to win. And for the first time that entire afternoon, Emma Michael looked surprised. The wine was still dripping from Abigail's chin. Slow, cold, sticky. She could taste it. Somewhere at the edge of her vision, she saw the glow of a phone screen. Someone had already started recording. Of course they had. Public humiliation always attracts documentation. Go back to cleaning bedpans, Emma Michael said quietly. Not loud enough for the room, just loud enough for Abigail. That was when Abigail heard something else. Footsteps, not rushed, not uncertain, measured, heel to toe, even rhythm. The sound of someone who had already decided what was about to happen. Click, click, click. The sound cut through the room the way authority cuts through panic. The laughter stopped first, then the whispering. Then something else changed. Temperature, pressure, order replacing chaos. Abigail had worked trauma for 7 years. She knew this feeling. This is what happens when the highest authority enters the room. She felt it before she saw him. Alexander Sterling stepped onto the marble beside her. Charcoal suit, impeccable tailoring. Later, she would learn it cost more than her car. He knelt beside her without hesitation, without concern for the wine soaking into the fabric, without concern for the witnesses. Up close, his face was completely controlled. No anger, no sympathy, only focus. He looked at her the way elite surgeons look at critical patients, like failure was not an acceptable outcome. Look at me, he said quietly. Not a command, a calibration. Abigail did. Do not collapse now, he said. A small pause. You're about to understand something important. Not be saved, not be rescued. Understand? That word mattered. He stood and offered his hand. Not dramatic, not theatrical, simple, certain. Abigail hesitated only a second. Then she took it. He pulled her up steadily. Not fast, not slow, controlled. She found her balance, found her breathing, found something else. Perspective. Sterling turned toward the room. He didn't ask for the microphone. He didn't need amplification. Authority has its own acoustics. 3 years ago, he began calmly, I was trapped in a vehicle fire outside Philadelphia. The room went silent. Not curiosity, wait. I was conscious long enough to watch multiple vehicles slow down, record, and continue driving. No emotion in his voice, just fact. One person stopped. Pause. She broke the window. Another pause. She pulled me out. Another. She applied pressure to my injuries using her own clothing. He turned slightly, looked at Abigail. And she left before anyone knew her name. The air seemed to shift. Abigail felt something tilt inside her memory. Smoke, heat, glass, a burning car on the shoulder of a highway, a man bleeding, her hands moving automatically, training overriding hesitation. She had never told anyone, not even Sophia, because to her, it had just been another Wednesday. Sterling spoke again. I have been trying to identify that woman ever since. Emma Michael's posture changed slightly. First crack, then his voice changed. Colder, more precise. As for Isabella Sterling, pause. There is no Isabella Sterling. Silence broke differently this time. Sharp, confused, controlled chaos. Sterling continued. The woman your son is currently with is an actress. Pause. Her real name is Kara Whitmore. Another pause. I hired her 11 weeks ago. The microphone slipped from Emma's hand. The feedback shrieked briefly. Then silence returned. What? Emma said. Her voice smaller now, for the first time. My employee, Sterling continued, was engaged to the woman who saved my life. Pause. I discovered this 14 weeks ago during a routine background review. He let that settle. I needed to understand what kind of man he was. Another pause. So I created an opportunity. Not a trap. An opportunity. That distinction mattered. I introduced access, wealth, status, the exact social elevation he had been pursuing. His gaze moved briefly toward Jordan's empty seat. I gave him multiple opportunities to choose integrity. Pause. He chose advancement. Another pause. Very quickly. Someone in the back exhaled loudly. Sterling continued. He described his engagement as temporary. He described Abigail as convenient. He described his future as negotiable. Each sentence landed cleaner than the last. I have recordings. Another pause. My legal department received them this morning. Another. Jordan Michael's employment ended at 8:30 this morning. The reaction in the room wasn't loud. It was worse. Low murmurs, recognition, social death beginning in real time. Then Sterling looked directly at Emma, not aggressively, assessing. I also believe, he said calmly, you were aware of this arrangement. Pause. I believe you coordinated the public timing. Another pause. I believe humiliation was part of the objective. Emma didn't answer. She sat down slowly. For the first time since the ceremony began, she looked uncertain. Then the doors opened, hard. Jordan Michael entered at a run, tie loose, shirt partially untucked, breathing hard, the look of a man who had lost control of timing. He stopped when he saw Abigail, then Sterling, then the room. Abigail watched something fascinating happen. She watched him calculate. His eyes moved quickly. Guests, his mother, the wine, Sterling, then back to Abigail. And she saw the exact moment he understood. The hierarchy had changed, and for the first time since she met him, Jordan looked small. Abigail watched Jordan carefully. That was when everything became simple. He wasn't trying to understand what had just happened to her. He was trying to understand what had just happened to him. His breathing was uneven. His eyes moved quickly, scanning, assessing, recalculating, damage control. Abigail, listen to me, he said, lowering his voice into that familiar, intimate register he always used when he wanted control back. I love you. This is a misunderstanding. She studied his face, really studied it, for the first time without hope. She looked for guilt, for shock, for even one instinctive reaction to the blood at her hairline, to the ruined dress, to the fact she had just been dismantled in front of hundreds of witnesses. She found nothing. No grief, no shame, no instinct to protect her, only strategy. And something inside her became very quiet. Not broken, not numb, resolved. I made a mistake, Jordan continued. My mother pushed this too far. I didn't know how to stop it. Abigail heard the words, but they no longer reached her, because for the first time she understood something clearly. Weakness isn't imposed, it's permitted, and Jordan had been permitting it for years. She released the bouquet, the roses fell to the marble. A soft sound, almost insignificant, but it felt like the closing of a door she would never open again. She turned toward Sterling. He wasn't directing her, wasn't stepping forward, wasn't performing anything. He was simply there, present, waiting, respecting her autonomy. And that mattered more than anything he could have done. For 3 years, Abigail had been adjusting herself, softening herself, making herself easier to accept, less inconvenient, less threatening. That version of her ended on that marble floor. What remained was someone much simpler, someone no longer negotiating her own worth. She stepped toward Sterling, not because she needed saving, because she was choosing alignment. And then she kissed him, not slowly, not dramatically, decisively. It wasn't romance, it wasn't revenge, it was closure. Behind her, she heard Jordan make a sound that was half protest, half disbelief. When Abigail stepped back, she didn't look at him. She didn't need to anymore. He had already answered every question she would ever have. The officiant stood frozen, caught between protocol and reality. Abigail turned to him. I do, she said, calm, certain. It wasn't legal, not yet. But psychologically, A decision had just become permanent. Jordan's voice broke through the silence. "Abigail, stop, please." Security moved before emotion could escalate. Two men who had blended into the architecture of the room stepped forward. Efficient, quiet, inevitable. Jordan wasn't dragged. He was redirected. Still talking, still negotiating, still trying to reopen something already closed. The doors shut behind him, and with them, the last illusion Abigail had about him. The rest of the ceremony lasted less than 15 minutes. Most of the guests didn't leave, because something had changed. Power had shifted, and people instinctively stay when they sense history happening in real time. About 20 minutes later, Abigail stood in the bridal suite beneath bright vanity lights. Wine was still dripping slowly from the destroyed hem of her dress. She studied her reflection the way she studied trauma patients. Objectively, methodically. Scalp laceration? Superficial. Palm punctures? Minor. Dress? Unrecoverable. Dignity? Intact. Her hands began shaking as adrenaline started leaving her system. She pressed them flat against her thighs. Controlled breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth. The same rhythm she taught patients in pain. Sophia entered quietly, said nothing, sat beside her, placed a steady hand over Abigail's. Presence instead of questions. That was why Abigail trusted her. After a long silence, Sophia finally said, "So, Sterling." Abigail exhaled slowly. "I know. Men don't kneel on marble in suits like that unless something very real is happening." For the first time that day, Abigail almost smiled. There was a soft knock. Sterling stood outside, composed, precise, as if the last 2 hours had been a complex but manageable negotiation. "Most of the guests are still here," he said. The reception continued. Catering proceeded. Music resumed. A brief pause. "I thought you might want a different ending to the day." He handed her a garment bag. Inside was a deep crimson evening gown. Minimalist, architectural, intentional. The kind of dress designed to communicate presence. Abigail understood immediately. This wasn't random. This had been prepared. "This was made for me," she said quietly. Sterling nodded. 12 weeks ago." A pause. "I hoped it would never be necessary." Another pause. "But I prepare for unfavorable outcomes." Abigail studied him, not as a rescuer, as a strategist. "Who are you?" she asked. Not his name, his motivation. His answer was immediate. The man who never forgot the person who saved his life. No performance, no drama, just truth. And for the first time that day, Abigail felt something unexpected. Not relief, not happiness, stability. By the following week, the consequences had already begun moving quietly through Jordan's world. Reputation travels faster than facts. His termination became industry knowledge within days. Professional networks closed around him. Calls went unanswered. Opportunities disappeared. Not loudly, efficiently. Emma Michael attempted to contain the damage, but social circles that once welcomed her became distant. Invitations slowed, responses delayed, conversations shortened. Not punishment, repositioning. The exact strategy she had used on Abigail, now applied to her. Abigail did not celebrate this, because she had already learned something more important than revenge. Real victory is emotional independence. Not status, not power, not validation, freedom. And for the first time in years, she felt it. Not happiness, something stronger, peace. And that should have been the end of the story. It wasn't. Because Jordan Michael wasn't finished trying to undo what he had destroyed. And what he did next was the first time Abigail truly saw who he had always been. Abigail listened to the recording only once. It happened in Rachel Kim's conference room. Rachel on one side, Sophia on the other. Both silent, both present. Jordan's voice filled the room. Calm, detailed, transactional. He spoke about Abigail the way people speak about temporary leases. Convenient, practical, replaceable. He explained how he planned to end things once his position improved. How timing mattered. How appearances mattered. How she had served her purpose. Abigail expected rage. Instead, she felt something else. Confirmation. Like finally seeing an X-ray of a fracture you already knew was there. It hurt, but less than uncertainty. And what surprised her most? was relief. Because doubt had been heavier than truth. What she didn't expect was the video. Of course someone had filmed it. 400 witnesses. An event like that doesn't stay private anymore. The recording was 9 minutes long. It began with the wine. It ended with Sterling helping her stand. It was uploaded before she even changed out of the dress. By Monday morning, it had passed 10 million views. By Wednesday, it had reached media outlets she actually read. People called her strong, resilient, dignified. But Abigail knew the truth. She hadn't been strong. She had simply been finished. And sometimes that looks the same. She and Sterling married legally 3 months later. No cathedral, no audience, no spectacle, just a courthouse. Sophia as her witness, Sterling's CFO as his. Afterward, they went to dinner, a quiet restaurant, no reservation needed. Sterling had arrangements in places like that. Abigail wore a navy dress, flat shoes. She ordered pasta. Halfway through the meal, she laughed at something he said. Not politely, naturally. Sterling paused. Something shifted in his expression. "What?" she asked. "Nothing," he said. "Tell me." He looked at her the same way he had on the marble floor, carefully. "I've been waiting to hear that," he said. "What?" The laugh. Pause. "I wasn't sure I'd done everything right." She studied him. Done what right? The dress. The restaurant. The timing. Another pause. "You're difficult to read. I wanted tonight to feel safe." He stopped there. For a moment, the man who negotiated billion-dollar deals looked uncertain, and that small moment of honesty meant more to her than any grand gesture. "It's right," she said, and she meant it. Abigail still works in the trauma ICU. People find that surprising. They ask why she doesn't leave. She always gives the same answer. Because the work matters. Because a crisis doesn't care about status. Because a failing heart doesn't ask about your personal life. Because pain doesn't recognize wealth. Work is honest. Work doesn't pretend. She still takes double shifts, still comes home exhausted at impossible hours. Sometimes she finds Sterling awake with a book. He hands her tea. Doesn't ask questions. He knows she will speak when she is ready. He has learned her silences, not to fill them, to respect them. And Abigail realized something important about love. Real love doesn't try to control your breathing. It lets you breathe. Emma Michael sent a letter 6 months later. Abigail never opened it. Rachel read it, called it an apology wrapped inside legal positioning. Abigail didn't care which it was. Some chapters don't need replies. Jordan she heard about only once more, through someone who expected a reaction. He had become engaged again, to someone more socially acceptable, more strategically aligned. Abigail thought about it for a moment, then said calmly, "I hope she has good lawyers." That was the last time she ever spoke his name. What Abigail Miller learned from all of it was simple. Not every betrayal destroys you. Some betrayals introduce you to the version of yourself that no longer negotiates for acceptance. She learned that love without courage is just convenience, that loyalty without backbone becomes liability. And that is the most dangerous mistake intelligent people make, is ignoring what they already know. And years later, when people asked her if she regretted the day she was humiliated in front of hundreds of people, she would sometimes smile and answer, "No. That was the day my real life started." Because the worst day of her life was also the day she stopped being someone else's future and finally became her own.